All right, so how's the day so far? Good stuff? Good. So I hope they saved the best for last, which is the raffle. So very stoked, very excited to present this final keynote session. And what I want to talk about and focus on is this idea of how to be responsive. I mean, we live in a world where change is the new norm. In fact, when I first became a project manager, I got my PMP back in 2003, back in my days. I was reading a project management book. It says, if you're a good project manager, after you plan, everything should be locked. You should do everything according to plan and nothing should change. It's a boatload of crap, for sure. What I want to talk about is change is good, change is real, but how do you respond to this change? And more importantly, we as project managers, how can we inspire, transform, and facilitate purposeful collaboration? I mean, I was listening to the speaker prior to this in this room, and they were talking about, our problem today is it's hard to be project managers. We're pulled in different directions. There's so much information. It's hard to figure out what's real, what's not, what's important, and what's not important, and which master to serve. And still keep a smile on our faces. So let me start this conversation with this picture. You guys remember this company? So in 1999, they did their IPO. They IPO'd at $4.8 billion. How much is Alibaba so far? 168 billion. Wow. At the same time, there's a guy named Reed Hastings. He was so frustrated with paying late fees to Blockbuster, so he decided, there's a chair. He decided, there's this thing called the internet, I'm going to start this company called Netflix to stream videos. People at that time, especially Blockbuster, are like, you crazy. Nobody's going to watch a video on the internet. Too small. Reed continued on his mission. Blockbuster continued to grow. In 2004, at the peak of their existence, they had 9,000 stores and 60,000 employees around the world. They were doing good. Now, don't get me wrong, Blockbuster was also investing on this new technology. In 2010, or in between, I should say 2007, before I go to 2010, the CFO decided, you know what? This internet thing is just a fad. Let's redirect our budget and open more stores. That's what they did. I was a member. I think I paid $20 a month for unlimited video. Although I had to pay $100 for my late fees. We all knew the story. 2010, they went bankrupt, and Dish Network bought the name. In 2013, officially, Blockbuster did not exist. Right? And this is not too long ago, friends. So what's the big deal? This happens a lot these days. Think about AOL, think about Netscape. It's all these tech companies. They just don't know how to do business. I beg to argue. This happens all the time. Think about in the 1910. What company built America? What was that steel company? Bethlehem Steel. You're showing your age, buddy. Bethlehem Steel was like the Facebook in 1910. They owned America. But I bet 80% of you in this room know nothing about Bethlehem Steel. You see, here's the problem we face, friends. Although we claim we're in the 2014, we're all cool and modern and forward-thinking, we're not. Organizations to this day aren't built for change, including project teams and project organizations. And I'm guilty of this too. Especially a lot of you in this room, because, we're PMPs, we got processes. I'm not saying processes are wrong. If you look at this picture, Henry Ford came up with the whole mass production idea. And why did he have to do this? Well, he had to optimize business and delivery of products. And with the technology they had at that time, that's the best he could do. So during the industrial age, what? Processes were put in place, structure, optimization, efficiency, org chart, huge. And we still do that today, and which is important, don't get me wrong. But a lot has changed since then. Let me explain. You see, back then, I mean, think about projects, right? The way it worked with projects, so let's say if we had a project or an idea, what do we do? Okay, let's start planning for this project. Okay, part of planning, we gather requirements. After we gather requirements, we talk to the customer. Maybe we start building it. I mean, I can think of like IT projects back then. At that time, I had to write code from scratch. I started with assembler. A lot of you didn't get that. You were born yet. Assembler? Bless your heart. Did I use that right? Okay. A lot of you didn't get that. So, and then we build, and then we do a release, and we get feedback, oh, it's wrong. And then, back then in the 50s, same thing, right? If a company had a product, because information was so slow to get back to them, what do? So they put together plans, they ship their product, it goes to grocery stores, but they have to continue to ship those products, so they have to introduce processes, optimization, to keep up with business, so, they do what they do. And then they get feedback, people write letters, this is not too good, and maybe in 2 years they fix it. Y'all with me? But times have changed. Today, information is all over the place. Today, technology is so advanced that I can release something by using existing tools, tweaking it, and we have some solution. Right? While we all know this, and some of you may be saying, well, Gus, we take in feedback, in our projects, we do Agile, Scrum, Kanban, Kumbaya. A lot of us, if we have to be honest with ourselves, are just paying a lip service. We take all these information, and what do? We just put it right there. We still follow on our plan. It's on the project plan. The value of information decreases over time. The problem is, a lot of you may say, well, Gus, you don't understand. I work in the government. I work in the financial sector. I work in legal. They're all so rigid. Fine. But what about your competitors? Their competitive advantage is taking information, feedback, learning, and they kill it. See how Uber is killing the taxi industry? See how Airbnb is killing the hotel industry? See how all these web-based startups are killing big companies like Microsoft, IBM? We gotta be responsive. You see, planning is good, it's important, if you can predict the future. Who can predict the future? None of us. What I'm asking you, Jen, is take all your discipline, but be open enough and learn from the information as you go along and respond accordingly. You see, today, we're not even in the information age anymore. We're in the connected age. Companies can rise, companies can fall in a matter of a split second. And why is that? Because information flow is moving so fast. So what I want to propose, what I want to talk to you in this last session is how do you be responsive as project manager? How do you be ready, or how can you be ready for this revolution? So you guys ready? You want to talk about this? She would. How about you guys? Yes? So are you ready for these revolutions? Okay. So if we look at the paradigm shift, right? Where we're so used to long cycles, waterfall, step-by-step serial process, that's not good enough anymore. In this day and age, it requires us to rapidly innovate. Heck, that's a theme of the conference, right? Innovate. It's not as if you want to, it's you have to, you need to. Before, we don't have access to a lot of data or a lot of information. Today, we have access to too much information. In fact, I would argue, I don't know if you guys heard this motto or back in a couple years ago, content is king. Y'all heard about that? Oh, big data, content is good, content is king. Today, I don't agree with that. Today, content is not king anymore. Context is king. Wouldn't your stakeholders would love to get real-time information on their KPI, proper context, not just a bunch of Microsoft project costs being sent to this individual? Wouldn't your resource would love to only see the tasks that they're supposed to do this week in their calendar so they can just say done, 50%, 5 hours, boom, 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 boom. Context. Before, when we think about workplace, we think of somewhere we go, we clock in 8 to 5, we sit on a desk and work. Today, we live in a mobile world. I mean, think about how we work. You wake up every day, take out your iPhone, look at some emails, maybe get started responding, and you don't finish it. Then you have breakfast, grab your iPad, read some news, continue the email. You don't get done. You go to work, and that's where you finish the email. That's what we call work shifting. That's the new norm. As project managers, a lot of us, I'm guilty of this too, while we're all PMPs, we know processes, planning is good, being more strategic is good, we're all reactive. We're always putting out fires. Somebody was telling me, oh, he's a good project manager, he always put fires out. Actually, that's a bad project. Yes? I mean, don't get me wrong, fires always come up, but if that's all you do all day long, my question to you, am I giving it a opinion? We're not asked to be responsive. This major change is what I call shift happens. Shift happens. And it's a good thing. I love it when shift happens, especially in the realm of project management. Because today, when we think of project management, again, we think structure, we think silos. There's a PMO, there's all these portfolio, program, project teams. There's the dev team, there's, it's all good. But what's lacking is the ability for us to interact and work together, be responsive to facilitate purposeful collaboration. I know a lot of people talk about collaboration the past few years, especially in the context of technology. Oh, use this tool to better collaborate. Oh, use that tool to better manage your projects. I mean, a tool is a tool is a tool. I mean, let me ask you this, right? I shared in my previous session that I do a lot of work in the Microsoft world using SharePoint, Microsoft Project Server. Who has SharePoint in their companies? Raise your hand. Okay, of those hands raised, how many of you in your organization, or at least some people in your organization, hate SharePoint? It's okay, no judgment. Right? And they say SharePoint sucks, right? Yeah. So here's an advice, put your hands up. When you go back to work and that person comes up to you and says, oh, I hate SharePoint sucks. Look at them straight in the eye. Don't blame and say, SharePoint doesn't suck. You suck. It's a freaking tool. You're a tool, dog. We get so caught up on technology, we get so caught up on rigid processes, but I love the speech at lunch with the motivational speaker. It says, we're all people. We respond to needs, we have wants. We use this technology to our advantage. So how do we do that? The speed of information drives change. Again, think about this. If you want to be responsive, you got to take advantage of the speed of information, and we don't take advantage of it. In fact, we always get ourselves last in this race because we don't take advantage of information. I mean, you go out to a nice new restaurant, but even before you go and eat, what do? A lot of us go and Yelp. You look at reviews. Speed of information drives change. Do I eat here or not eat here? You want to buy the new iPhone? You go to Amazon, look at reviews. Well, you don't really care. You just want the new iPhone, so that doesn't count. But you go to Amazon, you worry about anything. Oh, good reviews? There you go, I'm going to buy. My friend on Facebook talking about how great this new school is or cruise is drives change. Y'all with me? The kind of information we rely on, and don't get me wrong, it's good. It's pretty much coming through email, maybe instant messenger, but it's not contextual. And almost always it goes through these chains of processes before any change can happen. Jack Welch has a great quote. If the rate of change on the outside, which is the world, our customers, exceeds the rate of change on the inside, the end is near. I always have this debate with my government customers. I was just talking to somebody earlier. He said, Docs, I love your session, but you know what? Our company is still stuck up. We're a financial company. We can't use any of that stuff. They won't use the cloud. It's not safe. I go, you know, look at Blockbuster. Look at Netflix Steel. At first, I thought all this being responsive and taking advantage of technology, I thought it was a generational gap. A lot of people used to tell me, well, Docs, you don't understand. It's for the young kids. Right? A lot of people, it's just set in their ways. They want to use Excel, Outlook, what have you. But that changed totally for me 2 years ago. I was working in Washington, D.C. with a customer on a project. This person, gentleman, he was adamant that all he needs is Excel and email to manage his projects. He doesn't care about these new technologies, it's too much. And at that time, we introduced how to use mobile technologies for project management, all that good stuff. So as 5 o'clock hit, we walked out the door at the same time, and guess what he did? He whipped out his iPhone 4, started downloading apps, checking his feed, started playing Candy Crush while crossing the street. That's actually a lame excuse that it's too hard for you to learn. But what I realized is at work, there's no context. There's no purpose. That's what people don't care about. Oh, here's SharePoint. Go use it for project management. Here's a new requirements certification from PMI. Go study it and be one. What's the context? What's the purpose? So how do we do this? How do we lead this new way of thinking or this new way of being a project manager? How do we be a responsive project manager? So I'm going to share 3 steps with you, 4 steps with you, and some examples. First step, obviously you yourself have to change. You can't keep passing the buck on everything, passing the buck on everybody else. Change starts from yourself. You got to unlearn the past. I'm not saying you get rid of your past. Unlearn it and open up some room to do new things. We're all project managers. We know the processes. We know everything. We know how to be efficient, all that. But what you need to add on to your own skill set and the way you do things is to be responsive. So what does that mean, Docs? I'm going to share this quick diagram, and I'll show a video to demonstrate this. So first, let's talk about what we're used to, right? We're all used to processes, being efficient, so we're used to planning. So let's say we get started on a project, we create our project plan, our RACI diagram, all that good stuff. So we're good. Next, because we're so used to planning, and in order for the plan to work, we got to have some level of control so people will do what they're supposed to do. That's what RACI diagrams are for, right? So, Docs, you're the project manager. Joe, you're the developer team lead. Mike, you're the foreman. Susan, you're the financial project finance person. People are giving roles, and that's as far as I'm seeing, or as much as I'm seeing, especially in government projects, that's all you do. And people do it. People do it good in most cases. Lastly, because people's roles are so defined and what they're supposed to do are so defined, there's no motivation to learn other things or to look for other things. That's where silos starts happening. I'm told to do this. This is my job. This is my work. And this is all I do. What I'm proposing is, don't get rid of this, but adjust it in a way where you look at a shift towards responsiveness where you allow some experimentation. In your projects, this is well planned, but if folks have other ideas or situations come up in the industry that warrants for some kind of change, be open to it. I'm not saying throw out your plan, but be open to it. Allow failure. Failure is okay. Let me share an example. So I had this customer I was working with 3 years ago. They're going to roll out this whole new project management system, and they were so hard-headed doing it one way, and they hired us because my team was going to provide advice and all that. But they said, no, we're the government, you don't understand. I go, all right, I'll tell you what, let's do it your way. I want to take you to hell faster, so you'll listen to me. So in typical project engagement, that's the first piece of my work. In my internal project plan, there's a task, take you to hell faster. And then once we get there, I kind of say it in a nice way, I told you so. So let's do it my way. Allow for experimentation, failure. Second, while we give people roles and responsibility, so we can have some sort of a control over things we do, allow or enable autonomy. And this goes into issues like micromanagement. You gotta do this exactly. They may have good ideas. Lastly, open it up. Work out loud. In our company, we take advantage of an internal enterprise social tool called Yammer. In my projects, I do that. Just work out loud. Ask questions out in the open, because even if you ask questions to docs, and this happened a bunch of times, so there was one point somebody was asking about testing, and folks, how do you test this kind of code against this environment? Docs. Well, this question was asked out loud on this platform. Before even I responded, somebody else saw that question and said, oh, you do it this way because I've done this before in another project. That would have happened in email. That's what I call responsive. So when we think about these concepts of being responsive, again, I'm not saying get rid of what you know, but be more agile, be more open, and allow autonomy and experimentation. I want to show you a video, but I want to set this up just to make it real. So the video I'm going to show is from a restaurant called Red Robin. Y'all know Red Robin? Yes? Yeah, I like the burgers. So Red Robin, here's the situation. So in the fast food industry, competition side, one of the project initiatives they have is how to save money. So they actually had a project figuring out how to save money, decrease expenses and costs. So obviously one of the original ideas in large companies like that, typically, what do? They hire consultants, do a survey, whatever, right? But idea was like, you know what? Why don't we use modern technology, responsive technology, and we get the wisdom of the masses, our workers, and see if they have any good ideas. And what we're going to do to motivate our workers, because Red Robin, they're using technology called Yammer, and you'll see in a second. All the restaurant servers, they have cell phones and they have apps. So they threw this question out, give us ideas how to best save money. And we'll narrow it down to like 10 ideas. The best idea that people come up with, and the way they figure out what the best idea is, people vote, just likes. Whoever has the best idea in 3 weeks, the CFO will personally send you a $2,000 check. Right? But check out what happened.
In the Great Recession, many best-in-class competitors made decisions around efficiency and effectiveness that helped them preserve their margins. Well, Red Robin hadn't done any of that. And from my experience, I realized that there were a lot of efficiencies to be had if we only unleashed the power of our team members to help us.
Our CFO offered to write a $1,000 check out of his own pocket for the best cost savings idea he could come up with, but he had 2 rules around his cost savings. The first is it couldn't negatively impact a guest or a team member, and second is it had to be sustainable. It couldn't be a one-hit wonder.
Well, historically, if you wanted to get ideas from the front line, you went out and talked to people, and I did that. With Yammer, we were able to put a challenge out to 25,000 people at the same time.
And what he did is he got on stage and he launched this at our annual leadership conference, but then engaged this contest on Yammer.
Surveys are one-way communication. Whereas when you do this kind of challenge in a forum like Yammer, it becomes multi-directional. People can contribute to that idea.
Having that ability is really makes us more of an innovative company, which is really going to move us forward in the industry.
Having them talk about it on a social network really engaged the competition. We ended up settling on a pretty simple winner, which was a reusable kids cup.
So it's better for the environment, it's obviously cost savings for the company, and it's a win-win all the way around.
Yammer was a terrific enhancement to that because it gave people the ability, without getting a second-guessed judge, to put ideas on the table about where we could save money without hurting the guest, without hurting the team member, and without compromising the quality.
One thing they did send out that video is, do you think they only implemented that one idea? I mean, word on the streets, they implemented the top 5 or 10 ideas, and in 2 months they saved a couple $100,000. Amazing. So to be responsive is, first, you got to shift your thinking that you have to be an enabler for the business. And then second, look at tools and solutions that you can take advantage of. It doesn't have to be expensive. Yammer is $1 a user or $2 a user a month, or maybe $1, I forgot. I was talking to somebody earlier, well, Docs, my company is not going to spend on that. Well, you're looking at it the wrong way. What's the cost of not doing it? Our role as project managers is we should responsively, that's facilitate, I don't even know what facilitate means, facilitate projects that solve business problems with success measured by business value and lasting adoption. That was easy, but they saved a couple $100,000 in a few months. So our job is to work with the business, really to identify the needs. Again, it doesn't have to be big projects, and we have people that can do that really well. Think about how you deliver business value quickly and iteratively, and this is the new norm. Everybody's impatient. There's no such thing as a 5-year IT project. Even though it's on paper, it's a 5-year IT project, you should be delivering value right away. You should respond to the needs right away. As project managers today, take advantage of technology to expedite delivery. And make sure you don't just use technology for technology's sake. Here's another great example. I don't know if you know this construction company, it's Becca. One of their issues is they build a lot of these buildings and restaurants and what have you. Their challenge is just capturing knowledge. Because these construction workers or project teams, they learn a lot of different things, but the problem is all those good knowledge is not captured. So what they decided is they want to take advantage of a simple tool. They use Yammer, and anything they saw, they learned, they just captured it, and then they made it available and searchable. So if people want to look at a specific way to analyze or do a study or do a certain check, they can do it. Let me show you an example. So I'm going to show you a technology today along the same lines. All right. And, okay. So, there you go. So what you're seeing, friends, so this is my iPhone 5 Plus. Okay. So here's the deal, and this is an actual tool we prototyped for a government agency. So what you're seeing here is actually a project management tool. It's a field operations project management tool. So here's the situation. This government agency, they sent out 800 project inspectors at a certain period of time. So there's that time of year these project inspectors go out and do inspections for facilities and what have you. Y'all with me? And they treat this specific area a project. So there's a team, but these project teams are mobile. So the problem is there's so much information, not only about the project, but also about the location, the building codes, traffic condition, weather, whole 9 yards, right? It's overwhelming for a lot of these field project inspectors. So what we did is we helped them. They have all these tools and technology. They said, we want relevancy. Again, context is king. We're mobile. We can't carry out a laptop. Some have iPads. Some can use phones. And all right. So we did this. At any given point in time, you wake up, you're a project manager. You have a dashboard, right? Today, this is the inspection you're going to do. The Newton Hawker Center. Your progress on the right. Your progress this week, 23%. The week, the month. Upcoming inspections, you have a map where you need to go. Environmental warning, flood warning, road alert, what have you. And then everything you need for your inspection. Let's look at this checklist. Is the food preparation clean? Yes. Drinks? No. Blah, blah, blah. And by the way, friends, all this on the back end is just tied to SharePoint, project server. All their tasks are coming from Microsoft Project. It's just showing up here. And not only that, if they get stuck on an inspection, who can I call? Oh, Billy's available. So let me link him or Skype him so he can talk to me. Hey, how do you do this inspection? Well, I need my documents to look at how to do certain things. So let me hit documents here. Oh, wow, there's the PowerPoint. This specific, I can write my notes. Knowledge library. You know what? There's a crack in this building. That's against the code. So let me take a picture of his foot here. Camera doesn't like your foot. There you go. So now I'm going to capture that, and guess what happens? That just goes all back to the project side. Wow, that's super cool. Is that expensive? No, it's just an app, simple app, but it's pulling all the existing technologies that this government agency already has. SharePoint, Project, Office. As that Excel file got updated, Miss Sally in accounting just saw their project expense. What do you think? You guys like this? This beats having project inspectors walking around with paper, template, and checklist and doing their thing, and then they go back to the office, they have to type it in 3 different places. Story of my life. So step 1, you got to be responsive. Maximize technology that we're used to. The second step, once you're responsive, you got to secure buy-in. And this is the hard part. I was talking to a gentleman during the break. They're like, docs, you know, I'm all in this, but the powers that be they won't budge. The unfortunate reality is if they don't get this, it's a hard fight for you. It's a hard battle. There's a lot of issues today in project management, and it's going to get worse. If you keep on doing what you're doing, it's just not going to get better. Business matters. Project management doesn't matter. So what I'm proposing to you is when you go up to the powers that be, when you want to secure buy-in, you don't talk about, well, you got to have better project management tools. You talk about what the business is doing. How can we as project managers help support your business drivers? Is it saving money, global expansion, world domination, cutting costs? What is it? In order to do that, here are the things we need to do. Now, one of the things to secure buy-in, and I find that this is effective all the time, is visibility. The biggest complaint of executives is they don't have visibility to anything at the right time. So, if you pitch this idea of if being responsive means we should have visibility to things, which means we need technology to support that, and obviously you do a little pilot or a little exercise, they'll love you, right? So this screenshot is for the state of Hawaii. They provide visibility to their IT projects, right? And I want to show you a couple other examples. This is the Virginia Department of Transportation. This is online. This is powered by, again, the technology doesn't matter, but SharePoint, but they have visibility. into all the different KPIs of the department, but also projects, what the status of the projects are. And the beauty of this, why do they use Microsoft technology? Because, I mean, we have to admit it, most of the organizations are Microsoft shop. So they tied it not only to projects and SharePoint, this is hooked up to like Excel and the most powerful database out there called Access. You got that, right? Yeah. Another one, recovery.gov. I'm sure a lot of you know this website tracks how the stimulus fund is being spent state by state. Again, transparency. You go to a state, you look at their dashboard, you can look at how much money they got, what the status of each project is, you click on it, voila, boom. Visibility. Huge. I find that something very important and near and dear to executives' heart. Useful so far, gang? Yes. Yes! Step 3. To be responsive and to drive value. Once you change yourself and have this responsive mindset, once you secure buy-in, the next level is you have to work with the business and map it to business value. The hardest part about any change, be it a process or technology initiative, is people. I don't want no new technology. I like my Excel and my Outlook. I don't like a new way of doing things. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, how do we bridge this gap? Right? One of the things I found is you have to introduce changes, baby step, and you have to take advantage of things people are already used to. So, for example, today when I help organizations take advantage of project management platforms, I don't tell people you have to use Microsoft Project. No. If people are used to using phones, let them be. If they like their Macs, let them be. Now, I get it, project managers have to use Microsoft Project, but everybody else, as long as the technology stack supports it, use tools that they're used to get started. Let me show you a simple video I recorded just to show you a day in the life of a project management team using tools that they're familiar with. Check this out.
Meet my colleague Alex. He and I are working on putting together a presentation for our boss. Thanks to SharePoint 2013, we're able to easily centralize and manage all related artifacts and communications for this project. On a typical day, Alex would start working from home using his Mac. He would check his email from the browser and start work from there. Looks like Alex is reviewing the tasks of the project, and he has some questions for me about the project. Just by using the browser, he's able to instant message me using technologies like Link. One of the key benefits of SharePoint 2013 is a deep integration with existing tools that we already use, like Microsoft Office, smartphones, and even web-based technologies. So even if I'm out and about, I'm still not at the office here, I can easily respond to Alex on my phone and update my tasks. The beauty with SharePoint 2013 is that I can continue working with Alex once I get to the office. You just assign me a task on the project site, and look at what happens. It automatically shows up on my task list in Microsoft Outlook. Isn't that cool, or what? Additionally, within Outlook, I can email the entire team directly using this neat feature called Site Mailbox. The site mailbox is available not only in Outlook, but it's the same site mailbox that the team can see and interact with directly on the project site. The site mailbox also provides visibility to all the documents I have in the project site. So what do you think? Are you excited? I am. This is the new way to work together with SharePoint 2013.
So let's take that story further, right? So let's say here's that project site, presentation, and this is the day. I'm up on the stage doing my presentation, all that good stuff. I had a whole team helping me put this presentation together, and they're trying to figure out how the presentation is going. So let me do this, is we're using all these technology. Again, I want to use my device. John, maybe you want to help me. I want to go ahead and post the status of this. In fact, I'm going to take a picture. And I'm just going to use my iPad. Can you help me, Jeff? So just point this. I'm going to stand back there, take a picture of me in the crowd. Just hit this button. It's like a group selfie. I'm going to tag everybody on Facebook later. Cheese! You did? All right, let's give John a big round of applause. All right. So you took this photo, right? Again, in the spirit of being responsive, and it's uploading. But here's what's happening now, friends. My team, I have 3 or 4 people helping me across the world. Yeah, they get it. They see the schedule, they see the documents, but real time, in lieu of just email alone, where it's not as integrated. Oh, there you go. You guys see that? Where email is not as integrated. This keeps every single thing about the project in your one-stop shop. Y'all with me? Sorry if I'm not more excited than I should be. But this is here today. And we still rely on the 1973 tool to help us. In case you guys didn't get that, it's email. Now, so the idea is when you want your team, your users to take advantage of this, make sure it's relevant to their business. And each group has different needs. You can't just throw it out there, hey, be responsive, use this new system. No, talk about their world, their needs. Accounting people, they like Excel. But younger kids, they like their mobile. Right? The good news is a lot of technology investments you have support all these things. Last step, step 4. So we talk about to be a responsive PM, you got to be responsive yourself. You got to secure buy-in, the powers that be. You got to map this to some business value to the end user. And then step 4, you got to sustain adoption. This is one of the biggest challenge I see in a lot of organizations for project management initiatives. You spend a lot of money to put together a new process or a new system, and then 3 weeks later, people go their own ways. Because we don't think about how do we sustain the change. When we talk about purposeful collaboration, it supports better project management. And this is something that we don't do one time. To drive this type of sustainability, it takes, a good couple of months. When we talk about sustainable adoption, we want to ensure lasting buy-in. And the key tenets of sustainable adoption is first, you've got to get people excited. So that for the folks who joined my session earlier, when you saw that Excel, a bunch of people were excited, yes? Were you excited about that Excel capability? Because the excitement shouldn't just be for excitement's sake. Because people are excited because, you know what, Docs, this will help me save time. This will help me not do manual processes. This will help me focus more as a project manager. And lastly, you've got to put a mechanism in place where we can empower people in the system through self-learning, internal project management user groups, lessons learned. So we have to put that framework together. And we as project managers or IT, a lot of you are IT folks here, we can't do that alone. If you want to push forward this new way of doing things, this responsive way, engage corporate communications and HR, let them help you. They're really good at this. Right? And part of this, obviously, is to deliver contextual learning. I mean, unless you want to be a full-time PM, I don't even promote learning all the processes and knowledge areas and whatever. I promote the basics, make sure learning is relevant, and make it fun. So let me share an example. How do you make learning fun so you can drive adoption? So one of the things I do when I work with organizations around PM, when we want to push forth either a new system or a new process, is I promote this idea of active learning to the end users, right? The idea of active learning is people learn better when they're involved and engaged, and it's fun. It's almost not illegal. Now, when I roll out these learning initiatives, typically, for example, okay, we'll learn how to use our new system. This class is about an hour, 2 hours, what have you. But 3 days later, you got to review, because at our company Lunch and Learn, we will play a game and see how much you've learned, and we will give out a prize. And this game we're going to play is called Project Management Jeopardy. You guys want to try this? I'll play the game Project Management Jeopardy? All right, let's do it. Welcome, I'm your host, Doug Trebek. For today's categories, we have PM 101, PM Tools, Business Process Compliance, and Data Access. To get this game started, let's do PM 101 for 100. Now, by the way, you guys know how to play Jeopardy, right? So we're going to answer a few of these, and I'm actually going to give a prize, okay? And the prize I'm going to give is free 1 hour, one-on-one consulting. Call me up, we'll schedule something. I'll answer whatever questions you have that I can answer, okay? All right, let's get going. PM 101 for 100. For 100. It's a unique, temporary endeavor that has a definite start and finish. What is project? Very good. Let's give it a big round of applause. Can I do another one? Let's do one more. This is fun. All right. PM 101 for 200. This certification are issued to project managers. Raise your hand. What's BP? Okay, very good. Congratulations. Thank you. Is that fun? Well, check this out. Just a PowerPoint. Some of you are looking at me and like, well, Doc, this whole sustainable adoption is expensive, training program, fancy software. No, PowerPoint. By the way, you guys want this PowerPoint? Yeah. All right, $100 a down. No, just kidding. I have 2 kids, you know? No, again, if you dropped off your contact in our booth, I'll send the PowerPoint, the video, even these templates for you. But my point being is, the way you make learning engaging and fun, people not only participate, they learn. If there's people in this room who didn't know the answer to the first or the second one, now they know. And there's a little bag of tricks like this. Right? To lead this responsive project management revolution, 4 steps. Number 1, we have to be responsive ourselves. It means that while efficiency is important, processes are important, we gotta allow for experimentation, autonomy, right? Step 2, we gotta secure buy-in. We could do all these things, it's great, but unless we have some champions supporting us with this vision on how to push forward with business by being responsive, it's gonna be a hard battle if we don't have that. Third step, we have to map it to some business value. Well, you know, you can use your phone, you can use Excel, right? You don't spend too much time learning something new to start with, and it's going to help you save time processing all the invoices. And lastly, you got to sustain it through time. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Is this useful? So, let me ask you this. Who's ready for this responsive revolution? Who's going to take these 4 steps? Anybody? Just want to show it. All right. Now, again, who's going to take these steps? Raise your hand. All right. So here's what I want to do. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Stand up. I want to show you what these steps are like. Stand up for those who raise your hand. I'm going to show you how to lead this responsive project management revolution.
Gangnam Style.
All right.
Gangnam Style. 낮에는 따사로운 인간적인 여자 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자 밤이 오면 심장이 뜨거워지는 여자 그런 반전 있는 여자 나는 선호해 낮에는 너만큼 따사로운 Gangnam Style.